my colleague Erica Hewitt has a complicated relationship with Christmas. She says, 4 Christmases ago, a painful breakup sent me spinning into a long tango with depression. 2 Christmases ago, I came down with the stomach flu. Last year, as tears streamed down my face, friends cut off my long hair in preparation for my first round of chemotherapy. And this year, she says, like many, I'm grieving an election that I believe has already damaged the hearts and bodies of our country's most fragile people. One would forgive Erica for not loving Christmas anymore. One would forgive her even for hating Christmas. But that is not the case. I haven't soured on the holidays, she says, and I will not give up on Christmas for 2 reasons. First, she says, long before my heart was broken and I lost my hair to chemo, I learned to shape the holidays to fit into whatever shaped hole is in my heart. At times, this has required ingenuity and vigilance. The holidays, laden as they are with traditions and sacred cows, can pull us into programmed ruts rather than genuine wonder. To ask, what do I truly need? And how can I claim my longing for joy? Can happen only when we allow ourselves to practice vulnerability and to take mindful pauses. The other reason I won't give up on Christmas, she says, is its central message. The holy will never give up on us, her people. In fact, from Hanukkah to solstice, that's the message of most winter holy days. The holy, she says, call it God, call it the force, call it love's impulse, will never give up on us. Even when we feel like curling up in a dark room and revoking our membership in the human family. Love, she says, will find us again and again and again. Last Christmas, my niece begged her parents for a kitten. She has been longing for a pet for years, but other than one concession for a gerbil, my sister hasn't been into the idea. But last year, the family got creative and asked my mom, who they all call Graham, if my niece Callie could get a kitten and keep it at Graham's house. My mother decided that if an all-black kitten could be found, she would agree. So just before Christmas, an adorable black kitten was found at a local shelter, and my mother diligently passed all of the interviews and background checks and reference checks that exist in our country for stray cats, but not for guns. I'm getting off track, I know, but these things really make me furious. The cat was hers, except for one thing. The shelter does not give out animals the week before Christmas. It's their rule. You see, too many people give or receive adorable little pets as Christmas gifts, only to find out a week or two later that having a pet is actually a lot of work and a big responsibility and not always that much fun. So most often, these Christmas gifts get returned. So my mother patiently waited until a few days after Christmas to pick up Callie's kitten. She bought the carrier and the cat box and the food and the litter in preparation. And then she drove with the cat carrier to the shelter to pick up the adorable black kitten. Only it wasn't there. A shelter volunteer had fallen in love with the kitten over the holidays and had taken it home. My mother and my niece were both devastated. But not wanting to go home empty-handed, my mother acquiesced to bringing home a different cat, the mother cat. Not quite as cute as the kitten, but very sweet-natured. Eventually forgiving her for not being the adorable tiny kitten that she had been promised, my niece named the cat Holly. A good name for a cat that comes home just after Christmas. Holly is now solidly a part of the family. Things don't always go according to plan. Even at the holidays, when those plans are so carefully made. Especially at the holidays, when those plans are so carefully made. My friend and colleague Ellen Codgrass captured it well when she said, "Everything in this season seems to take on more weight. All that is good and all that is hard becomes framed by the backdrop of our own heightened expectations." It feels like a good strategy to hold things lightly in this season of heightened expectations, to hold the possibility of loss and disappointment alongside the possibility of hope, to hold the experience of death alongside the joy of birth. Joy and woe are woven fine amidst the tinsel and the ribbons. I'm sure that Mary didn't intend to give birth in a filthy manger alongside the braying animals. I'm sure it was devastating to her. But we make it a part of the story, a beautiful part of the story. Because all that happens to us, all our losses and disappointments, all our fears and troubles, they are part of our story, too. And the holidays are only bearable. The holidays are only beautiful if we find a place for all those things in our holiday story. If we find a way to shape the holidays to fit into whatever shaped hole is in our hearts. Now, I do have a postscript to the Holly story. On Thursday, I got this email from my mother. "When I got home today," she wrote, "I noticed that Holly had something in her mouth. I looked more closely, and it was one of the sheep from my little nativity scene. And then I looked at the nativity scene. It was missing 2 kings, 1 shepherd, 2 sheep, and a fawn." Mom started to laugh and then to hunt. The 2 kings were under the couch. The shepherd, sheep, and fawn were in various hidden places in the music room. Still laughing, my mother's creative thinking came into play. she set up the whole nativity again, and then she put a clear Pyrex baking dish upside down over the whole scene. Sometimes when you go to the shelter with your cat carrier, the kitten you had fallen in love with and promised to your grandchild is gone. Sometimes, just before this most wonderful time of the year, your heart gets broken. You go through a breakup, or someone dies, or you have to cut off your beautiful hair and battle cancer. It's all part of the story. Going into this season, let's take measure of the holes in our hearts. Let's loosen our grip on our high holiday expectations. Let's make room in our stories for the loss as well as the joy. Let's set a place at the holiday table for those loved ones present with us and those loved ones present only by way of an invisible string. And if there is a place where we feel particularly fragile and vulnerable this winter, let's put a Pyrex baking dish over that part of ourselves so that we can make it through this season in one piece. Every one of us, Erica reminds us, has a story about the holiday blues, crisis, loneliness, wanting to give up. Telling our stories helps restore our wholeness. Tell yours. While you're at it, form a plan for the coming weeks so that on the other side of this winter, you can look back and say, here's how I made it gentler on myself. And here's where I remembered that love will show itself again and again. Amen, and blessed be.